What's up, Raging578 here, and welcome back to Sherlock Holmes. So the last time we were on, we were invited to a cult party or something like that, and solving a murder mystery, and then the cops came in, basically beat everyone up, put them in jail, and then our boy Minecraft, I'm about to call him Minecraft again. I want to call him Minecraft every time. Basically, I let him out. So I'm free, and I'm still investigating the murder. So as far as I know right now, I don't think, yeah, so none of these actually go together. But I think we gotta talk to some people. The vocal is under arrest since he's one of the primary suspects. Alright, so let's go ahead and have a little chat with vocal. Oh, we're having a cult party here too. Police are in it. Interesting. Oh, you know where he would be? He would be in the cell, of course. Alright. I'm probably gonna have to change to my police uniform.
Look, I found Werner.
Oh. Oh. Good job, Don. You actually did something useful for once.
Werner, are you alright?
Oh, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I mean, I feel like Sherlock, he's all about finding the truth, so why would he want to lie? I don't know. I feel like that's what he would know in that situation. Anyways, alright, let's just bump through all this.
Anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti.
Do I know him?
The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
And that's about it. Alright. So I asked Vogel about Santos Pinchetti, but he has no idea who the man is. Fair enough. I should tell Constable Oswald in the archives to question him as a suspect. Alright. So that's the next place we'll go. So, sorry, I just ate food, so I'm gonna be quite gassy. Oh, but
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
oh, that's easy.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Honestly, would have thought I would have had to travel across the map, but hey, for once the game decided to give me a break, so. Alright. That's funny, John. Drink up. Okay, here we go. So that's 4, 6. Okay, 7's gonna be down here.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
So I can just analyze your body. That's so weird. I would never tell anyone. Like, there you go. Stay still for a second. Inflamed skin. The hell? Psoriasis or allergy. Well, if there's anything I am good at, is looking this up in the dictionary. Psoriasis. A non-contagious inflammatory skin disease characterized by recurring reddish patches covered with silvery scale. Ugh. Alright. Right, may want to get that one checked out, man. Patch soles repaired multiple times. Interesting. Dyed tuxel, colored more than once. Even more interesting. Why would somebody want to get it consistently dyed? I do not know. Or do I? Blood splattered. Stepped in blood. Alright. Jesus Christ. Alright, so Santos Pinchetti is the head servant at the Mencios mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. His body shows symptoms of psoriasis. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under layers of makeup. The majordomo's suit had multiple holes that had been patched or sewn. To renovate the suit's look, Mr. Pinchetti had it dyed. Or terrible miser. Despite having enough money, Mr. Pinchetti spends as little of it as possible. Cheap makeup hides imperfections on his body. In an attempt to look more modern, Mr. Pinchetti has dyed his suit on several occasions. To save even more money, the majordomo appears to have personally repaired multiple holes in the suit. That one is way more like detailed than this one, obviously, because this one has a lot less word. Well, he's not really hiding his psoriasis under layers of makeup. I mean, you can see it clearly. Has multiple holes that have been patched or sewn. Look, nah, I think it's miser. Like I said, it just has more detailed.
Is your greedy nature responsible for the lack of taste and attention to your appearance? The cheap makeup, shabby and dyed clothes? How do you explain those, Majordomo?
The means to practice my profession are limited. I'm sorry you noticed it, sir.
The parties overshadowed your state. You are lucky Kurt Manchios's attention was concentrated elsewhere. In a decent household, you would be asked to leave for far less.
Yes, his attention was undoubtedly concentrated on something other than my appearance.
But one detail stands out on your dirty rags and shoes. The drops of blood.
Oh, that. I don't know anything about it.
Right. Well, perhaps that he was wearing the same shoes. If it is this guy, perhaps he was wearing the same shoes as when he quote unquote murdered. And this is a hypothesis. Quote unquote murdered Fabio while he was in the disguise cult thingies. You know, because you remember we found a bloody cult disguise in a closet, so it makes sense. All right. Do you know the victim?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious.
That's disgusting.
Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Very interesting. Alright, let's go back to the Mind Palace. So, Santos Pinchetti informed the police. Pinchetti accidentally stepped in blood. Santos Pinchetti may have stepped in the blood while discovering the crime scene. Perhaps. Alright. Nothing else we can... Oh wow, this is a split another thing. Okay. Pinchetti accidentally stepped in blood. Santos Pinchetti may have stepped in the blood while discovering the crime scene. Pinchetti missed the blood splatter. Santos Pinchetti failed to notice a blood stain on the side of his shoes while cleaning himself after the murder. Okay. So these two don't really connect to each other, and they really don't connect to anything just yet, so. Alright. Despite being a major domo, he appears to be poor. Right.
Please let me out.
No. We will look at this, though.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Kurt Manchio's will and note. A small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug, you begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Kurt, the text of the will under the note. Santos Pinchetti, the major domo of the Manchio's mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and a salt lamp, that he might always remember his caring employer, Kurt Manchios. That is pretty weird. What do you have to say about this?
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Very, very interesting. Alright. Go ahead and... there we go. So Santos Pinchetti and efforts in vain. Pinchetti has been forced to work for Kurt Manchios in the desperate hope of obtaining heritage, but it hasn't paid off. I want to see if any of these will connect. Okay, not quite. Alright, let's look at the next thing. So Kurt Manchios gave Fabio expensive gift. Alright, it doesn't connect to anything here. No. Alright, let's go ahead and look back at the casebook. Okay, so that's the will and the note. His profile, Pinchetti wants to inherit Manchio's property. He believes his uncle, Mr. Manchio, does not appreciate it. I feel like we need to go talk to this dude. I'd like to know where he is, though. He left everything he has for the case on the table. Oh wait, oh, does that mean my interrogation table? Oh, we should probably go look at that then. I think we actually have already looked at that. So, I don't know. But we got anything?
I know you can untangle this mess.
Alright. I think we were over here. And I don't think there was actually anything over here for me to look at. Hello, my detective sense is gonna... there we go. Okay. Nothing there. I guess we can try talking to Oswald again.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
Alright. Fabio receives expensive cufflink that's present from Manchios. The station responded to disposition by sending patrol while witness left. Okay, that witness was Santos. Provider of this ticket is permission to inspect all evidence on the case of number 6260. Police arrested me during the Manchester mansion. I agreed with the Oswald. He left everything he has on the case. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I actually totally forgot Matista's actually here. should be in here. Yep.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
I can already see something on her. The bruise right here. Blood-filled bruise obtained recently. Primitive occult tattoo inks herself. Bitten nails, nervous. Ew. Oh, I can see it too. Ew. Sorry, anytime I see like nails like either being like, you know, peeled off or like bitten, that just disgusts me, man. So trust me, it's not what I like looking at when I'm playing Sadako. It's her fingers. Ugh. Alright. Old and healing cut, self-inflicted. Burn mark, inflicted with the branding iron kit. If I remember from yesterday, I'm pretty sure Fabio has the same mark. Interesting. Then again, this is the second cult member that we. Oh no, this is the third one, but Fabio had his shirt off and we could see his arm. She has no sleeves, so we can see her arm. So I wonder if Vogel has one. Whoa. Shackle scar. Old and barely visible. Damn. Alright, so bitten nails, nervous, blood-filled bruises. I mean, dude, we have a lot to read, so. Alright. Matista, the performer and Fabio's partner, has had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence their similar branding. Old scars are the results of her slavery during adolescence. She continues to be haunted by these traumatic experiences. She has a genuine interest in mysticism. Whew. Since she has tattooed her body with occult symbols. Matista tries to get over her past, and the life of a performer seems to be an opportunity for her to earn money. Alright. Matista seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. She sells herself to the guests to do whatever they want to her. She's not afraid to step over the line. Awesome Matista, but okay, honestly, once again, this has more details than this one. Like this one, it just makes it sound like she's just scraping to get by and all that stuff. Like here, let's not overthink this. I think it's this one.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
Interesting. So she has been involved with a killing before. So, which, I mean, honestly, I can't 100% blame her because, I mean, hey, slavery sucks, alright? Unfortunately, that still happens in this world, but regardless, that sucks. So, alright, where did you get those bruises?
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Okay. So Matista has fresh bruises. There we go. So she was bruised by the guests. Matista suffered bruises on her body from brutal interaction with the guests during the party. See any of this will connect. Okay, so the ritual. Okay, so as we've actually have already covered before, I felt like the ritual was a cover, and it seemed like it definitely is because, yeah, that goes red when I go the other way. Let's see what this does. No, nothing. All right. All right. Matisse has fresh bruises. Ah, of course. Okay, so it splits. Matisse was bruised by the guest. Matisse suffered bruises on her body from brutal interactions with the guest during the party. Okay. Fabio bruised Matista during their fight in the smoking lounge. Fabio, you know, that makes a lot more sense because, okay, I don't know if Matista had an outfit on her, but then again, if you remember, the women at the party were dressed up, you know, slutty, so that would make sense. Let's go with Fabio. I mean, it just makes more sense. Like, there's a bigger connection between those. Okay. So then Matista was bruised by the guest. No, cause that goes red too. I'm gonna stick with Fabio bruised Matista because it just seems like it would make more sense to me. Then again, we've only known like 2 people, so okay. Let's go ahead and look back at the case book. So we got a profile on Matista. Matista is a former slave and has the past history together with Fabio. And that's another thing too, man. It's just like Fabio and Matista, like they were slave together, and they escaped. So I mean, that's a strong bond. Let's keep looking. Blah blah blah. Okay. Who's this guy?
Good day, Mr. Manchios.
Oh, that's him.
I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers. The new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Furnace, friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Let me take a look at your body, boy. Alright, big nose. No, I'm just kidding. Rogue, where's makeup? Okay. Red spots, rash from exposure to hair dye. Yeah, okay. Soap under fingernails, washed hands and a what? That's pretty sus. Quality polished leather, lavishly expensive. Alright, Kurt Manchos is extremely rich, eccentric, and frivolous. He is the organizer of the parties for Cordona's elite, and the owner of the Manchos mansion. He spends his life in the company of similarly overprivileged people. However, his being sociable in this manner has made him cautious regarding his health. He uses chemical hair dye to clean and improve himself to the extent that it damages his skin. So a stickler for cleanliness hides his age. It's the same thing, yeah. So however, Mr. Manchios wishes to hide his true age from the younger participant to his party. He is concerned with aging to the point where he used makeup and hair dye to look younger. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. You know what? Alright, this is just being honest. If you remember the... I think he would try to hide his age. Because you would wear makeup because let's just say like women wear makeup to look younger. You know, that's just the I mean, that's just what I mean. I'm sure they do it for other things too. I'm not a woman, so I mean, I don't wear makeup or anything like that. Not saying that, you know, only women wear makeup, but basically you would use makeup to hide your age. Plus, he actually was kind of interested of you know, when he said the young blood and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go with this. Fuck it. Again, just don't overthink it. Just go with your guts.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see. Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party. That's not something I know much about. You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that.
Yeah, now we do it.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
He's extremely rich, eccentric, and controlling. No shit.
That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch
That would make a
my
lot of
reputation.
sense for Santos
Not
to
a very
leave.
eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
You know what? It would make a lot of sense for Santos to go and get the police after he discovered the murder, which is probably why he has blood on his shoes. Then again, though, he did fail to mention that he has the key to, you know, the room where Fabio was murdered. But look who I'm talking to here. The guy who owns the mansion. He would also have the key too, right? So,
That's not something I know much about.
Very, very interesting.
That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Very interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and use the mind palace before we close off this episode. Okay, so he has feelings for Fabio, but it connects to nothing that we have so far. Here we go. Mancio set himself up for debauchery. Current Mancio carefully prepared himself for the depravity. Let's see if we have anything else. Oh, there we go. So he sets himself up for debauchery, or Mancio's washed himself after the murder. Current Mancio's cleaned himself of blood after Fabio's murder. Alright, let's see if we just do this. That. Okay. So we're just routing out all possibilities here. Doesn't seem like we got everything we need. So, alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, but yeah, this guy is probably the most sus out of all. Just I don't know, just this attitude, but then again, it could be the devs trying to throw me off. But we'll figure it out tomorrow, and yeah, we'll probably end up solving it tomorrow. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.